I'm Ashton Addison from the Crypto Coin Show, and today on Blockchain Interviews with Jonathan Caras, the head of communications at Levana Protocol. Jonathan, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
You're very welcome. Excited to dive into Lavana, the Cosmos ecosystem, and Osmosis. We actually just had Sunny from Osmosis on the show, and it sounds like the ecosystem is growing rapidly right now, and it looks like Lavana is playing a part in that. I would love to dive into everything that your team's been working on, but maybe we could start with a high-level overview from the top, and those who aren't familiar with Lavana and haven't heard about it, if you could explain a little bit about what is the project, what are you guys working on, and then we'll dive into all the latest details.
Sure. So Lavana is a perpetual swap on the Osmosis blockchain. It's a unique perpetual swap that it has segregated markets, meaning that each market exists independently as really a three-pronged marketplace between long traders, short traders, and liquidity providers. So activity on one market does not have any impact on other markets, which adds a significant improvement on security, and it allows for single-sided deposits on the liquidity side, which earn real yield in kind. So, for example, if you deposit Bitcoin into the Bitcoin market, then as traders pay fees to long or short Bitcoin, you actually get paid every 6 seconds an APR paid out in Bitcoin. And, the same thing for the ETH market, the Osmo market, and so on. And another thing that this enables is for creating of more exotic markets like liquid stake token markets. So one of the most popular assets that exists on Lavana today is the ST Atom market. And we recently just added the ST Osmo market. So you can be earning the risk-free rate of staking rewards while taking on a leverage position or earning additional rewards as a liquidity provider. The protocol, has a long history. The team has been building this project for about 3 years now. Been through a number of iterations, including we'd originally deployed on Terra. I guess it's almost 2 years ago. Wow, it feels like a lifetime ago. But we've been now live for roughly a little over 4 months, and we have seen a massive amount of adoption. And we're super excited to see, as Osmosis grows and as Cosmos grow, Lavana benefit from that as well.
Wow, very cool, and a lot to dive into just in that. You mentioned at the beginning there about depositing in Bitcoin. I think that's really exciting. When I was speaking with Sunny, he had a lot of hopes for Bitcoin and DeFi on Bitcoin, and it sounds like they're working on some even more functionality on the Osmosis to integrate it more. And as Bitcoin grows, I've also seen a lot of more DeFi related things and ordinals and other things on the Bitcoin chain that's moving into Bitcoin, which is probably good for the space. But you mentioned there about single-sided liquidity, which I think is good because I feel like there's a lot of people that they have Bitcoin or they trade spot coins, but they're sort of afraid of the implications and the costs of doing DeFi on double-sided, of whether it's the impermanent loss that they experience or just having to manage more positions. Do you think this is going to open up more people's eyes into, hey, I can contribute to DeFi in an easier way?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think that one of the challenges also is just around complexity. When you have a lot of blended pools or you have, complicated concepts around leverage, it can be very challenging for a person who has no experience prior to come and to trade, to become a trader or a liquidity provider. And to just describe the high level of when you come to Lavana, the website is built mobile first. It's a relatively minimalistic user interface. If you come as a trader, you can decide to open an order immediately or to open it at a certain price. You can decide what you want your automatic take profit price to be. You can decide what you want your automatic stop loss to be in order to protect yourself. And then you can decide your leverage amount. And if you're not familiar with leverage as a whole, if you have 10x leverage on Bitcoin, then if Bitcoin goes up 2%, you roughly profit 20%. If you had 30x leverage on Bitcoin, so then if Bitcoin went up, 1%, then you would profit 30%. Obviously, there's fees associated with it, and it's not, there's no magic wand. You're taking a risk that if the market moves against you, that you can be liquidated. But at the same time, the way that the system, the user interface of Lavana was designed was to make it very transparent. You'll be able to see when you place an order, if my take profit is hit, I will profit 40%, which is X amount of dollars. If my stop loss hits, I will lose $10, or Y amount of percentage. And so it creates a mental model that is very friendly and approachable for the novice trader, but yet doesn't skimp on any of the advanced features that more professional traders need as well. And what we find is that about a third of the traders that are interacting with Lavana come from a rather robust trading background. Whereas the other 70%, many of them that the team has interviewed, have mentioned that I never really was interested in leverage trading. It always scared me. I never knew exactly how to get started until I first tried Lavana. And that's all from the trading side. What's really interesting from the liquidity providing side is you come to again, a very simple interface, which is mobile friendly, and you get to decide which pool do you want to contribute to. Do you want your contribution to be completely, to be liquid, so meaning you could withdraw it, or do you want it to have a lockup period? And the lockup period is by default 45-day linear unlock, and then obviously the rewards, if you decide to lock it up, for the 45 days, then you get a higher percentage of the fees from traders. So the whole thing is designed to be very simple, and it is it's based on a new implementation of perpetual swaps or creating leverage, which is called the well-funded model, which is the real innovation there. And it took us about 2 years. This is actually our fourth leverage product that the team has designed and built, and it's designed to be incredibly capital efficient, so that the fees can be lower for the traders, but the rewards for the liquidity providers is higher than what you would find on other platforms. And I believe that Lavana has become so popular from the liquidity depositors because many of the markets that are available, some of which are not even Cosmos tokens, like Doge or Binance Smart Chain or the Euro, and then soon to be things like gold and soybeans and other more exotic assets. There's no other place, some of which within all of crypto, and at least most of it not within Cosmos. So we offer a really easy way for traders to get started, and we offer a high level of APRs for liquidity providers and a strong guarantee of solvency. And I can talk a little bit more about what that means when a leverage exchange becomes insolvent.
Very interesting. And I like that you mentioned there at the end about commodities and other things outside of crypto, which I feel like are huge markets with quadrillions of dollars of derivatives as that moves.
I mean, they're much larger than all of crypto, together add an extra zero at the end, so it's really, I think, an untapped opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned there about capital market efficiency. obviously making it as efficient as possible and easy to use, but also fast and cheap and effective, I think is important, especially when the people started on the decentralized side, whether it's swapping on Uniswap on Ethereum, and it's not very efficient at all. And of course, they don't have leverage and stuff like that, but you could be paying $50 for a small transaction, which is ridiculous. But I know that the Cosmos ecosystem is very efficient. Maybe you could talk about just the underlying technology briefly, and then how that impacts the trading experience of the fastness, efficiency, cost of using Lavana.
So first of all, we are on top of Osmosis, which is the largest liquidity pool in all of Cosmos, and it's one of the largest dexes within Cosmos. And we are, so we leverage, no pun intended, that liquidity on Osmosis by providing a new use case. We really extend the Osmosis DEX and the Osmosis blockchain by taking that liquidity and then turning it into something that can be significantly more useful. When you only have spot opportunity, if I have $100, so to speak, I can only buy $100 of Bitcoin. And I'll usually do that if I think the price of Bitcoin is going to go up. If I think the price of Bitcoin is going to go down, I can't really profit off of that. I could sell into stable coins or something similar, maybe a different asset. But when with leverage, you're not limited by the size of your ticket, by that $100 that you might have. You're rather limited by your conviction. If you're if you have very strong conviction, that $100 could be 20. It could be 20 times that amount, 30 times that amount. And even with our Forex markets, we have up to 100x leverage, which is very exciting and definitely a differentiated experience in all of Cosmos and in many places within in crypto in general. So we offer a lot of a wide variety of use cases, whether it's to hedge against a position, whether it's to be able to profit from a market going downwards or chopping up and down. And I think that the partnership between Lavana and Osmosis is very strong because of the support that the liquidity in the spot DEX has, plus with the added utility of the leverage markets.
Wow, that's incredible. And you mentioned their Forex. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know there's millions of traders that have been trading Forex for decades, and implementing it on the blockchain should be more fast and efficient. I'm curious on that transition and how you think that will happen. Can we 10x improve Forex trading in the traditional sense and make it faster and cheaper for traditional people to start moving into Web3 and prefer that over the old ways that they used to trade Forex?
Well, I think it's there's two different markets. There's the haves and the have-nots in the world. There's people that have access to broad financial services. And that probably represents, probably between, I don't know, let's say 5% of the world. But then there's the other 95% of the world, which struggles to have access to, a broader sense of set of financial services. So being able to, within DeFi and within an ecosystem which is growing, like the Cosmos DeFi on Osmosis, you provide a suite of applications that are all kind of under one roof, that the same types of assets can be used for any number of use cases, whether it's trading, like leverage trading with perps on Lavana, or it's money markets or borrowing, or it's dollar cost averaging, and having, like you said, that there's a lot of people that want to be able to trade crypto, there's even more amount of people that want to trade Forex. There's even more amount of people that want to trade commodities. And it's great to be able to have that all kind of under one roof and then be able to provide it as a service to many of the places in the world and many of the people of the world that lack the basic services of financial equality or financial service equality.
Mm-hmm. And on the commodity side, I'm not too familiar with the intricacies of how they're trading on whether it's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange or commodities exchanges. But I know probably gold, oil, other assets. What are the first steps into introducing this commodities trading into the blockchain aspect of it?
So I think number one is education, just showing that that it's possible and that there's general interest. Number two is that you need to have consistent, reliable, trustless Oracle feeds. So we've been working with the Pith team on that for a while now, and we're very excited to bring that to market. And it is, I think it's a staging process, and I think that if you look at let's look just broader in the broader adoption cycle within crypto. That today, you've got inflation at levels that most people alive have never seen before. Inflation was a concept that maybe your grandfather told you when they said, "Oh, we've got." It used to cost like a nickel and a dime to go to the movie theaters, and you're like, well, whatever. But now you go to the store and you buy a Snickers and you see it's much smaller and it costs more. You fill up your tank and you see it costs twice as much as it did a few years ago. Your grocery bill is 30% more than it was pre-COVID. So that's something that puts economic theory and macroeconomics at the forefront of dinner table conversations and election cycles. And then along those lines, the narratives around Bitcoin and the Bitcoin halving, opportunities like ETFs within certain markets. I know that the United States, many different organizations have been trying to get ETFs going for a while now, and there's been significant progress on that. And so these two conversations kind of merge together, which then drive adoption to learning some of the basics and fundamentals of crypto. And I think it kind of usually is led with Bitcoin. And so being able to have a low cost utility that adds trustless earning features to Bitcoin, that allows Bitcoin to be used as collateral to be able to take on leverage trades for a plethora of different markets. These are differentiated features, which it's kind of like it's kind of like the saying that anybody who has a hammer in their hand goes around looking for a nail. So eventually, when you have a Bitcoin in your pocket, in your wallet, so then you start asking yourself, well, what can I do with this Bitcoin? And I think historically we saw that the only answer was, you can put it in centralized services like BlockFi or Voyager. And we saw in the previous cycle that because of the lack of transparency, there was information asymmetry, which made it challenging for market participants to be able to adequately identify their, to be able to accurately identify their, risk-reward profile. And now what we hope to see in the next market cycle is that products like Lavana will provide superior utility than what was only available on centralized services in the previous cycle. And because of the increased trust factor, that will provide a real opportunity for adoption within the decentralized finance space.
Great insights, Jonathan, and I appreciate that you're bringing more utility on the transparent side and more decentralized side to Bitcoin, because people that were stung from those companies you mentioned, hopefully they can move on, continue in the space. But I feel like there's a lot of people that are now looking for solutions, as you talked about the melting pot of inflation and your grocery bill, and those people that weren't innovators and early adopters are now almost being forced to look for technology alternatives as they see their gas and groceries are rising. They're like, hey, we don't know a lot about technology, but I think Bitcoin is an alternative because look at the store value and the appreciation of it. And because of this inflation, we almost need to move in there. And then once they get that and then it clicks in their mind, all of a sudden they're looking for utilities, and it opens up the world of Web3, which is beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that kind of once you go down the rabbit hole, it's very hard to come out of it. And I think that Osmosis is in a very unique position, and subsequently Lavana, as the most popular application, DApp built on top of Osmosis, that we're in a very favorable position to be a market leader and to continue the growth that we've had to date. And just to throw out some numbers there, we've got over 13,000 users on the protocol. We've passed over $1.1 billion worth of trading volume in the last, 4+ months. The annualized fees, assuming that there's zero growth, and this is annualized fees from the toughest trenches of the bear market, are from I think I saw the number today on the stats page, which you can see by going to trade.lavana.finance/stats. That it's an estimated $10 million of annual fees collected, and those fees are what pays the very compelling real yield to the liquidity providers.
Wow, that's incredible. And I saw that the Lavana token also had just launched on Osmosis. Hopefully that's making a compounding effect. And does it drive more utility for the users as well that are using Lavana?
Well, the goal with the token is to exist as a means to unify the users of the protocol in the form of governance. So it will be used. You'll be able to, as Lavana grows, use the token to be able to signal what markets should come to play, what the fees should be on each market, how those fees are used to help the protocol grow, what new products and services will be created to enhance the Lavana feature set, and so it's a great way to it's important that the token really reflect the community of users around the product. And we're very excited to have, we're just right now basically 24 hours into there being a token. So it's over the next, I would give it, let's say 6 to 12 months, I think that we'll really see a strong community grow that will be very vocal and impactful in the direction that the product takes.
Wow. And moving towards 2024, obviously there's some big events like the Bitcoin potential ETF being approved, the Bitcoin halving, and maybe more institutional adoption, and who knows what else for the other blockchains. How do you think those events may impact Bitcoin action on Lavana and just Lavana protocol as a whole? And how is the protocol sort of preparing for what may come in 2024?
So I think that we want to have a strong narrative around the assets that people are interested in. So that's why we're branching out, into the commodities and Forex market. That's why we have a dedicated market for Bitcoin. We'll have cross collateral Bitcoin market. So you'll be able to long oil with your Bitcoin, and or short current, like short the euro with your Bitcoin, and things kind of more interesting and exotic assets. And then also we'll have very simple tools where you might say, I'm not sure which market that I want to participate in. I just kind of want to put money in, and I want it to just kind of be rebalanced based on where traders are finding the most activity. So that level of simplification is something that we're going to put a strong focus on, so that those are called vaults. And so between continuing to add more markets and more exotic markets, and continuing to simplify the user experience, I think that there's a bright future ahead for Lavana and the community around her.
Wow, that's very exciting. I love that the team is sort of expanding both directions horizontally, more exotic kind of markets, but also I know a lot of people that they just have Bitcoin, but in the stock market, they're like, I just like my index fund, and I just don't have time because I'm working. So I just want to put it in a vault or something that just rebalances it and let the AI do the work. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And what is the best place for people to follow along with those updates and to use the protocol?
So I'd say Twitter is probably the best place to look. That's Lavana_protocol. And you can find a lot of our social links through the website, lavana.finance. And if you want to just hop right into the trading platform, it's trade.lavana.finance.
Sounds great, Jonathan. Thank you so much for the insights. Congratulations on a successful token launch and the volume of over 1 billion. That's incredible to see in a short amount of time on the Osmosis chain there. And I'm definitely going to go take a look myself. All the best moving forward into 2024, and let's definitely follow up in the near future.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today.